Stand by. Oh, what's up, party people? I mean, what's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Hey, this week's shows, as I speak on Friday night, my regular Friday night gig is the RAB in Conway, Arkansas. If you're anywhere in the Conway, Arkansas area, I encourage you to check out the RAB in Conway, Arkansas. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show Friday night at the RAB in Conway, Arkansas. Get there. It's right in the middle of America. You know, it's considered the South. They got a full bar, kitchen's open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool, I encourage you to check out the RAB Friday night, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. It's Conway, Arkansas. Be there. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, Biden says Russia still might invade Ukraine, but diplomacy continues. President Biden said Tuesday that Russia still might invade Ukraine despite Moscow's unverified claim that it had pulled some of its estimated 150,000 troops back from the smaller neighbor's borders. Biden said the United States and its allies would, quote, give the diplomacy every chance, end quote, to de-escalate the crisis without bowing to Russia's demands that include barring Ukraine from one day joining NATO. Biden said he would not send U.S. forces to fight in Ukraine, but vowed that the U.S. would, quote, defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power, end quote. Russian President Vladimir Putin said his country was willing to continue talks provided its demands, including rolling back NATO's expansion in Eastern Europe, were a priority in the conversation. This is according to the New York Times and the Washington Post. Number 2, Remington agrees to $73 million settlement with Sandy Hook families. Remington Arms has agreed to pay families five adults and 4 children killed in the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School $73 million to settle their liability claims, according to a Tuesday court filing. Remington made the semi-automatic Bushmaster XM15 E25 rifle that Adam Lanza, 20, used to kill 20 first graders and 6 staff members at the Newton, Connecticut school. The settlement marked the first time a gun maker has been held liable for a U.S. mass shooting. Quote, marketing weapons of war directly to young people known to have a strong fascination with firearms is reckless and, as too many families know, deadly conduct, end quote. Nicole Hockley, whose son Dylan was killed in the shooting, said in the statement. This is according to ABC News. Number 3, Prince Andrew settles Virginia Giriff's sexual abuse lawsuit. Britain's Prince Andrew has agreed to a settlement in a lawsuit accusing him of sexually assaulting an underage girl controlled by the late Jeffrey Epstein, who died in prison awaiting sex trafficking charges, according to a letter from the accuser's lawyer asking the Manhattan judge to dismiss the case. Under the deal, Andrew will pay the accuser, Virginia Giuffre, Joffre, I'm going to guess it's Joffre, Giuffre, an undisclosed amount and make a quote, a substantial donation to Miss Joffre's charity in support of victims' rights, end quote. According to the Tuesday court filing, the prince, quote, regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Miss Joffre and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others, end quote. According to a related document, Andrew has denied abusing Joffre. This is according to CNBC. Number 4, jury rejects Palin's libel suit against Times. A jury on Tuesday ruled against Sarah Palin in her libel suit against the New York Times. The jury found that Palin, the 2008 Republican vice presidential candidate and former Alaska governor, failed to prove that the newspaper exhibited, quote, actual malice, end quote, when it erroneously linked a map that Palin's Political Action Committee had posted to the deadly 2011 mass shooting that left then Representative Gabby Giffords, Democrat, Arizona, severely wounded. The verdict came a day after Judge Jed Rakoff said he would dismiss the case if the jury found in favor of Palin because she had fallen short of standards necessary for a public figure to win a defamation case. Palin is expected to appeal. This is according to CNN and the New York Times. Number 5, Rice becomes 30th House Democrat declining to seek re-election. Representative Kathleen Rice, Democrat, New York, announced Tuesday that she would not seek re-election this year. This is the 30th House Democrat to bow out ahead of the November midterm elections as the party tries to prevent Republicans from reclaiming the majority in the narrowly divided chamber. Rice, a former prosecutor, has represented New York's 4th congressional district since 2015 and was reelected in 2020 with 56% of the vote. She did not immediately reveal what she planned to do next, saying only that she would continue to focus on, quote, protecting our democracy and serving my constituents, end quote, for the rest of her current term. 29 other Democrats and 13 Republicans have announced they are retiring or seeking other offices in November. This is according to the Washington Post. Number 6, producer prices rose 1% in January. The Labor Department reported Tuesday that producer prices rose by a seasonally adjusted 1% in January, up from a 0.4% increase in December. The increase, the biggest jump since May 2021, came as a coronavirus surge driven by the highly contagious Omicron variant extended supply chain disruptions as consumer demand remained strong, according to economists. Producer prices increased by 9.7% over the preceding year, about the same increase as the government reported the previous month. Quote, overall producer prices remain elevated and close to historic highs, end quote, said Rubila Faroki, chief U.S. economist at High Frequency Economics. The new data added support for the Federal Reserve to roll back its efforts to boost the recovery to keep the economy from overheating. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Number 7, Ottawa police chief resigns after criticism over Freedom Convoy response. Ottawa Police Chief Peter Slowly resigned Tuesday after complaints that the police responded weakly to the so-called Freedom Convoy trucker protest against coronavirus restrictions. News of Slowly's departure came a day after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he would invoke emergency powers to end the demonstrations, which have clogged the Canadian capital's downtown for 2 weeks and spread to disrupt U.S.-Canada border crossings that are crucial to trade routes. When the Ottawa protest started 2 weeks ago, police failed to put up barriers in time to prevent semi-trucks from clogging downtown streets. This is according to the New York Times. Number 8, family of cinematographer Helena Hawkins sues Alec Baldwin over Rust shooting. A lawyer for the family of cinematographer Helena Hawkins on Tuesday announced the filing of a wrongful death lawsuit against actor Alec Baldwin and others over Hutchins' death on the New Mexico set of the film Rust in October. Baldwin was rehearsing a scene when the prop gun he was holding discharged with a live round that hit Hutchins, fatally wounding her. Director Joel Sousa was injured but recovered. Baldwin said he didn't know the pistol had a live round in it and denied that he pulled the trigger. Attorneys for Hutchins' family accused Baldwin and others responsible for safety on the set of disregarding industry standards to cut costs, leading to the tragedy. This is according to Hollywood Reporter and Variety. Number 9, San Francisco voters recall 3 school board members over coronavirus response. San Francisco residents on Tuesday voted overwhelmingly to recall 3 school board members in a display of anger over the district's handling of the coronavirus crisis. According to initial results, more than 70% of voters supported ousting board president Gabriela Lopez and members Allison Collins and Fauga Moliga. Parents were angry at the board for spending time last year renaming a third of the district schools instead of focusing solely on reopening classrooms faster after pandemic shutdowns. 10 days after the Board of Supervisors officially accepts the election results, Mayor London Breed will appoint replacements for the outgoing board members. This is according to the San Francisco Chronicle and the New York Times. Number 10, libertarian and humorous PJ ORourke dies at 74. Right libertarian author, journalist, and humorist PJ ORourke has died from complications of lung cancer. He was 74. After earning a master's degree in English from Johns Hopkins University in 1970, ORourke was hired in 1973 at the humor magazine National Lampoon, where he wrote a famous piece of gonzo journalism entitled, quote, "How to Drive Fast on Drugs While Getting Your Wing-Wang Squeezed and Not Spill Your Drink," end quote. He would rise to be the magazine's editor-in-chief. His later jobs included serving as a foreign correspondent for Rolling Stone and an election reporter for Real Time with Bill Maher. ORourke also published 20 books, including Parliament of Whores and Give War a Chance. This is according to the U.S. Sun. That's 10 things you need to know today for Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Thank you so much for listening. This is What Makes You Smarter. Filling my brain with knowledge, keeping up with the current events. And then stay tuned to this feed and you'll find other interesting things, or at least things that I find interesting. This is also the feed where you'll find my other podcast. If you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.